Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. There are definitely times I feel that we have to take a step back and look in the mirror and see basically a reflection of what we've become. Who said Matty needs 6 mirrors? Shut up, you! I'm not that bad! I can fit just fine in one, thank you very much. But there are some people who simply cannot self-reflect. People who are perfectly fine with destroying the country. And I find it absolutely disgusting that Keir the traitor Starmer wants to associate the St George's Cross with the so-called far right. No, Keir the traitor Starmer, that is our country's flag. It has been our flag for the last 1,000, 2,000 years, last time I checked. It is a symbol of who we are. It is a symbol of our Christianity. And it is a symbol of patriotism. Something a turncoat, traitorous bastard like you, Starmer, knows nothing about. How long has it been since I've been walking under the influence? Anyway, Keir the traitor Starmer, you need to understand that before you were even fucking born, there were patriots who were working their blood, sweat and tears for this country. Not as a silver spoon dick like you, but as white-collared workers. As people working in the construction industry, people putting their blood, sweat and tears in, actually doing hard graft. The only hard graft you know how to do is that thing between your legs. Not so much a salami, more like one of those cocktail stick sausages that you find in a cheap venue. I can definitely see why your wife is leaving you. But that's the thing with you, Keir the traitor Starmer. You can't sympathise with true working English people. You claim to represent the people, but there's only one group of people that you represent, and that is foreign bodies like the WEF. Then there's people on LBC like Lewis Good for fuck all, who was sitting there and basically saying, oh, Tommy's a criminal, he's a racist, he's a thug, blah, blah, blah. Yet what you'll find funny is they go back to, oh, he's a criminal as an excuse. Yeah, they're not willing to mention, oh, I don't know, aside from the Unite the Kingdom rally, they're not willing to mention Notting Hill Carnival. You know, that mostly peaceful event that ended up having, 526 arrests, dozens of stabbings, guns seized, drug crimes, anarchy in Notting Hill Carnival. Did you see any of that in the Unite the Kingdom movement? Well, aside from a group of people who are pushing through the police, the answer is no. That's the trouble with these leftoids, who can barely cobble together a brain amongst the whole lot of them, even if they go bargain hunting at the NHS. They always go to criminal as a get-out clause. They use it as effectively their go-to weapon. Oh, but he's a criminal. Yeah, well, there's only a couple of times where Tommy Robertson actually got done for assault. The first one being was when an off-duty copper went and harassed his now ex-wife. Basically, he was completely in the right to defend himself. The only time he went too far was when he stabbed on the copper's head, which was beyond reasonable defense. And I think there was one other time where basically it was in jail whilst he was done up for charges that he didn't even commit, or no reason at all. For context, this is regarding the mortgage fraud that they claimed he did, when all it was Tommy let a deposit at the start, got a house with a huge mortgage, but the mortgage ended up getting paid back. The bank didn't lose a single penny. But Tommy Robertson did jail for that, under that deal, of course, which was, if you plead guilty to these charges, we will drop your family at this time. So they even lied to him on that. But again, the mainstream media, they're not going to want to tell you that. I wonder why. In the meantime, we now have Angela tax-evading Rayner, who has now been done for £800,000 worth of tax fraud. But we're sitting here calling Tommy Robinson the criminal. Make it make sense. That's the thing with Lewis Good for fuck all. He just doesn't have a brain in him. I think he'll be lucky if he has a single brain cell in his head, quite frankly. He lost all that IQ the moment he became a member of Parliament. Or maybe I was right first time. They can sit here and throw out that pathetic excuse all they want, but in the end, Tommy Robinson may have been a criminal, but you know what? I think if you were to put it to a vote, to say, has Tommy Robinson redeemed himself? A lot of them would say yes. I reckon at least 75% of the public, if not more. Do you think Keir the traitor Starmer has redeemed himself over this last, 15 months? He's done fuck all. He's done more damage in 15 months than what Tommy Robinson has done in his entire life. He has done more damage than what Tony Blair has done in all of his career as a Prime Minister. So don't sit here and tell me, oh, Tommy's a criminal. Because let me tell you something, Lewis Goodall. He may be a criminal, but he's got a far better moral compass than you ever will. He actually has done far more good for this country than you've ever done in your entire fucking life. Where were you when girls were getting violated? Where were you when women were getting attacked? Where were you when the systematic R of our women and children was being facilitated by governments like yours, by two-tier police who are afraid of a 6-letter word? And what about people like Naz Shah, who said the girls should shut up for the sakes of diversity? Where were you then, Lewis Good for fuck all? And yeah, call me a foul-mouthed individual. I couldn't care less. I couldn't give a flying fuck. Because at the end of the day, people like you, Lewis, you're part of the problem. This country has like 99 problems right now, and you're at least 5 of them, Lewis. With Keir the traitor Starmer taking the top spot at about 25. Seriously, what good have the Labour Party actually done for this country? Can you even do that? Can you actually give one good thing that the Labour Party have actually done? Can you actually tell me anything that has been lasting and permanent that your government has actually done for this country that has been a genuine benefit? I'll be sitting here waiting, and you can message me at whatthefuckisgoingon.com. And I suspect my attitude, the whole thing, I suspect is probably why I'll never be let on LBC. Because I'll tell you one thing, if I was on LBC, I'd be destroying these absolute leftist wankers. Just like that. Because they don't have facts on their side. They don't have logic on their side. They just like to go to buzzwords and hyperbole, and they hope that it somehow sticks. They're flinging shit at a wall and hope it sticks to the wall, but it's sliding down and it's creating a huge stink in the country. In fact, any one of these patriots in the United Kingdom who went to that United Kingdom rally, they could wipe the floor with the LBC wankers, the lefty brigading cunts, within seconds. How many were there in the left-wing counter-protest? 5,000? And I'm probably being generous there. I could probably even say 10,000. It might not be true, but I could probably say that, and they'd still be vastly outnumbered by a factor of 100 to 1. And that's if we lowball how many people turned up to the United Kingdom rally. There are people, and the police initial reports were even saying there were as many as 3 million people. When there was 1 million people who were celebrating, I think it was Charlie and Harry or whoever it was, they filled up one street. Tommy filled dozens, if not hundreds of streets. How many do you think were there then? You see, this is the thing, lefties. You don't have facts on your side, we do. And the occasional moment that you do have facts, we can usually debunk them with much stronger ones. That's the thing, you have as much strength as a glass of soy milk. Your politicians have as much integrity as a burning straw I-beam, and you have all the credibility of a low-grade second-hand car salesman, quite frankly. But Keir the traitor Starmer wants to say that the St George's Cross is a symbol of the far right. No, it isn't. It's a symbol of what built this fucking country, and you weren't a part of it. You were more interested in sucking the dick of the WEF. You were more interested in serving the oligarchy and BlackRock and all the other foreign bodies that you like to be a part of. You have done not one good thing for this country, Starmer. Except, well, maybe there is one thing you've done that's good for this country. You've basically given the biggest red flag to the whole of the United Kingdom never ever to vote Labour ever again. Say what you will about the Tories. Yes, they're a crap government, but at least they weren't sinking the country as quickly as he is, and at least they weren't trying to completely destroy our free speech and what we do in our private time. And to all the lefties who want to cry that Unite the Kingdom was a racist movement, if that's the case, why was there a black Christian crowd singing songs? Answer that one. That's the thing with the lefties' claims of racism. You can debunk them, just like that. Black Christian crowd, singing on stage. Muslims coming up on stage and speaking out. He was willing to have an interview with Candid with Lubna. Do you think the lefties would do that? Do you think the lefties would even spend a fraction of a second with anybody that doesn't associate with their views? You'd be lucky if you saw them together for a nanosecond. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. They always are willing to have a biased crowd in the mainstream media as well. They're always willing to pack their studios to the tits with left-wing NPCs. And only a very select few people on the other side will actually be allowed in for the sakes of pleasing Ofcom. If they had their way, it would be 100% lefties and no right-wingers at all. And that's simply because they know full well that even one of us is worth far more than the entire studio of lefties put together. We can dismantle most of their arguing points in an instant. We can dismantle the oligarchy's narrative. We can destroy the credibility of Keir the traitor Starmer and people like Sadiq Khan, who are now, it's blatant now. Sadiq Khan is inciting violence against anybody who is deemed far right. And what was it that I said in my last video? I said the left wing are raising an army against them. And Sadiq Khan's rhetoric is exactly why it's happening. It is exactly that rhetoric that is going to raise that army against him. And then he really will wish that he paid a bit more respect to us. Because I'll tell you right now, if you think we're far right, you haven't seen anything yet, my friend. Wait, you're not my friend, fuck you. You haven't seen anything yet, Sadiq Khan. You wait until the real far right get in. The ones who will resort to violence the first chance they get. And when you look back at us, you'll think we were nothing but cuddly teddies compared to those people. Maybe that's what you need, Sadiq Khan and Keir the traitor Starmer. Maybe you need an army of the real far right. An army of the real far right who will actually show you exactly what it's like to be a real thug. Thank you. And let's not forget, of course, Sadiq Khan, how disrespectful you are to one Susan Hall. Now, say what you will about her, but she at least has the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually challenge Sadiq Khan. And it's become increasingly blatant how much that he doesn't want to investigate what is effectively a demographic-wide systematic abuse of our kids. Incredibly misogynistic, incredibly sexist, incredibly disrespectful and childish. And of course, part of that demographic himself is our Sadiq Khan. People like Tommy Robinson, people like Katie Hopkins, people like Dan Wootton, people like Martuzzi, people like Carl Benjamin, just to name a few. We have been extremely moderate in comparison to the people that you want to label as far right. And just remember what I said in the last video. If a CW comes about, if it actually comes because of your rhetoric, you'll only have yourselves to blame. None of us want a CW to break out. None of us want to see anarchy on the streets. None of us want to see this country go down the shitter. But that's what you and Keir the traitor Starmer are already doing to this great nation. The fact that you, Sadiq Khan, have effectively called for violence against us means you have unequivocally broken the law, and you must resign. Anybody in a position of your power, if they were on the right wing, they would have been cast out of that position, just like that. But you, Sadiq Khan, because you're a left-winger, nothing. Well, we the people demand your resignation. You must resign, you traitorous snake. You and Shabana Mahmood must never hold positions of power. You are part of Islam. You are part of a death cult religion that is intolerant of people with different opinions, different religions. Hell, people that want to be in the same type of same-sex relationship as one another. And here's the cold, bitter truth. Any Muslim that doesn't speak out against this religion, they're effectively complicit. They are complicit in protecting the extremists of their religion. There are a few good Muslims, and no, I'm not talking about that film with what's-his-face in it, Nicholson. Anyway, there are a few good Muslims out there, but not many. Or rather, not enough. Sorry for the cap-up. But you two, Keir the traitor Starmer and Sadiq Khan, you two are part of the problem. And there are few good Muslims left out there. Anyone who is not willing to call out the extremists of their ideology, much like they would expect us to call out extremist Christians of our ideology, they are complicit. If extremist Islam is the snake in the grass, then those who refuse to call it out are the grass hiding that snake. That is the cold, bitter truth. And Sadiq Khan, you must have a huge fucking lawn that's able to hide your sorry ass and the ass of Shabana Mahmood. You two have no right to be in the positions of power that you two are in right now. Mayor of London, more like the failure of London. You have grown up to be what I would describe as the biggest disappointment of your parents' entire existence. Just like Keir the traitor Starmer. Keir the traitor Starmer must have immeasurably disappointed his parents after he became the Prime Minister and started turning us into effectively a pound shop Russia. He has effectively turned this place into a dictatorship akin to the ruling of Stalin. The only difference is this is the United Kingdom and we're speaking English rather than speaking Russia and we're in Russia. These two are literally a couple made in hell. Ironically, Islam would have a problem with that and they'd stone these two to death for it. But that's what it comes down to. A religion should never have any position in power. Ever. As soon as Islam digs its fangs into a position of power, you will be hard-pressed to get them out of it. Even more so, you'll be hard-pressed to find the antidote to stick in and cure yourself of this poison. Islam is definitely a significant poison,
But it is curable. It is curable through Christianity and putting Christian values first. It is curable by casting out those who are intolerant of our societies, our cultures, our beliefs, and basically take out the trash, metaphorically speaking, and place it in the dustbin of history where it quite rightly belongs. But no one in the oligarchy, no one in the houses of treachery has got a pair of balls, again, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually say this as it is. I do have those balls though, in both places. And if I was in the house of treachery, by God, they would not be hearing the end of it. Though I suspect they would probably have me kicked out in an instant, because they know full well they can't have the truth out on full blast. And quite frankly, I've got those speakers turned up to maximum, so every single motherfucker can hear it, even those that decide they don't want to be in the room with me. Because that's the thing, and you can say it with me. I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I am going to say it exactly how it is, and I'll do my best not to bullshit you. The same, of course, can't be said for Keir the traitor Starmer, who has basically built his entire career, much like Rachel Thieves, on lies, on deceit, on treachery, on speaking forth thy evil intent with forked tongue and poison, which is like that of the fangs of snakes. Keir the traitor Starmer, much like Sadiq Khan, is also that poison that is infecting us. And we must cure ourselves of this poison, this cancer that is afflicting us this badly. If you think that the Unite the Kingdom rally was far right and racist, you need to take a good long look in the mirror, because I assure you, as I said, this is tame in comparison to the genuine far right, who would by now be torching your fucking buildings, much like they did in Nepal. Nepal and their Prime Minister, well, the Parliament buildings and the court buildings are burning. The people there took back their country in a week. How long do you think it will take 3 million people to take back their country? And let me be clear, I'm not advocating for anybody to do what Nepal has done. But realistically, the possibility of that happening here is very, very high. So high that it should concern anybody who has a functioning brain cell and a moral compass. Because what do you think is going to happen if it does descend to that? What do you think is going to happen when the people on the right decide that peace has failed and that there's only one option left? Pretty obvious, isn't it? Like JFK once said, when you make peaceful resolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. And when it does happen, you, Keir the traitor Starmer, will have to resign. I've said that many, many times, and I will keep saying it. So it's drilled so far into your fucking skull, not even getting a miniature team of shrunken bloody crew members inside a capsule will be able to dig that bitch out. You're not going to get anything other than misery and contempt from your position, because you have treated us like your personal welcome mat. You've even given that welcome mat to the invaders who've come over from third world shitholes wanting to get a worldwide caliphate. You've stuck a middle finger up at the English people, and now the English have said enough's enough. Your position is completely untenable. Sadiq Khan's position is completely untenable. Shabana Mahmood's position is completely untenable. David the Archbishop of Racism Lammy's position is completely untenable. But Lewis Good for fuck all wants to say, oh, but Tommy's a criminal. Because that automatically delegitimizes everything they've said, right? What about the people who served in the army in the 2 world wars that were criminals, that were thieves, and yet they were made into basically soldiers. They were made into real men. You wouldn't know what that is, even if I shipped you back 1950s style into Sandford Camp. You wouldn't know fuck all about what people have given for this country so that people like you, Starmer, can live your lavish lifestyle. You would not last 3 seconds in those men's positions. You'd be lucky if you survived 2. It would be 1, because that's how it would go with you treacherous bastards. You're more interested in leading people from the back. You're more interested in saying, go on, go get them, lads, and then run off in the other direction. You're a coward, Starmer. Sadiq Khan is a snake, and Shabana is a treacherous cow. It's as simple as that. If you don't like what I have to say, by all means call up Norfolk Constabulary and say, he hurt my feelings, because you'll prove that I'm right and that you don't have a fucking backbone amongst you. But here's the thing, unless I'm inciting violence or terrorism, you can't lock me up. Human Rights Act, Article 10, look it up, bitch. The bottom line's this. We have people that are trying to associate our flag with that of NZs. We are having people trying to make our flag look like a bad thing. Well, what flag was it that we bore which allowed us to make this proud land over the last 2,000 fucking years? And don't tell me it's the Union Jack, because that is bollocks, and you fucking know it. We are Christians. Well, most of us are. Islam makes up 6.5% of the population. Most of us are Christians. And even if I'm not a Christian, I support the Christians' claim to this country, because it's what built it. Blood, sweat, tears, men and women. Only 2 genders. Not the LGBTQ bollocks that we keep hearing. Not the pride marches. Not Notting Hill Carnival. Not Glastonbury Festival. Ordinary men and women. Working for a living. Being patriotic and proud of their country. Some of those servicemen are still serving us today. I tell you what, if I saw anyone who was in the streets in full uniform, this is what they would be getting. I salute you. But if it were for Starmer, if Keir the traitor Starmer came walking down my town, walking down my street, there's only one salute I'd give him, and it looks something like this.